Dookie dookie.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please, thank you for joining. I would like to welcome you all for His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Thank you for joining. Guru Maharaj is joined with us. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I would like to wish everyone happy, very, very happy and Krishna conscious 2025. Today is the first day. Guru Maharaj, shall we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam or do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bhagavatam today.
Okay. So the today's verse is Canto 2, Chapter 5 and verse 21. And I'll share that now on the screen.
21. Are you
Yes,
sure?
Guru Maharaj. Yeah, that's what is Srimati Mataji told me. Because yesterday, I think the class was different. So on the topic.
Yeah, I was thinking let's see verse number 20.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, sure.
so I know if I did it or not.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see verse number 20.
20. Okay, fine.
I'm going to remember if I did that verse or not.
That's the verse, Guru.
Let's see. Let's see the translation. Yeah, go to 21 here.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kalam karma swabhavam chaham mayaso mayaya swaya atma yadrikshaya praptam vibhubshur upadade. The Lord, who is the controller of all energies, thus creates, by his own potency, eternal time, the fate of all living entities and their particular nature for which they were created, and he again merges them independently. A little hard to understand. He creates their particular nature and again merges them independently. The creation of the material world, wherein the conditioned souls are allowed to act subordinately by the Supreme Lord, takes place again and again after being repeatedly annihilated. The material creation is something like a cloud in the unlimited sky. The real sky is the spiritual sky, eternally filled with the rays of the Brahmajyoti, and the portion of this unlimited sky is covered by the Mahatattva cloud of material creation, in which the conditioned souls who want to lord it against the will of the Lord are put into play as they desire, under the control of the Lord by the agency of his external energy. As the rainy season appears and disappears regularly, the creation takes place and is again annihilated under the control of the Lord, as confirmed in let's see.
Guru Maharaj, you are here. Bhagavad Gita 8.19. Yeah.
As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.19. So the creation and annihilation of the material world is a regular action of the Lord, just to allow the conditioned souls to play as they like and to create their own faith of being differently created again in terms of their independent desires at the time of annihilation. The creation therefore takes place at a historical date. As we are accustomed to think of everything which has a beginning in our tiny experience. The process of creation and annihilation is called anadi, without reference to date regarding the time the creation took place, because the duration of even a partial creation is 8,640,000,000 years. The law of creation is, however, as mentioned in Vedic literature, that is created at certain intervals and is again annihilated by the will of the Lord. The whole material, even spiritual creation, is a manifestation of the energy of the Lord, just as light and heat of a fire are different manifestations of the fire's energy. The Lord therefore exists in his impersonal form by such expansion of energy, and the complete creation rests on his impersonal feature. Nonetheless, he keeps himself distinct from such creation as the Purnam, or complete, and so no one should wrongly think that his personal feature is not existence due to his personal. There's something in blocking the next word.
It's unlimited, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that thing out of there. It doesn't belong there. Okay, it's still there.
I know it's difficult to go. I don't know what is that. Sorry, but I don't know how to get rid of that.
Do complete.
So
and
here, so we are here, impersonal,
so,
unlimited.
so
Sorry,
no one
unlimited.
so no one should. Oops, you're having fun, and I can't do anything. So what? I don't know what you're doing over there. It's like I'm trying to read, and you're moving everything around.
Is it better now, Guru Maharaj?
I can't see anything. Everything is blocking the words.
Oh, so shall I stop share and start again? Let me stop share and start again because I can see properly, but let me stop.
If you just learn how to move the thing up the page very easily, there's no problem. But if you hit the button hard, it jumps. You got to do it carefully, slowly.
Okay.
Nonetheless, he keeps himself distinct from the creation as Purnam, or complete, and no one should wrongly think that his personal feature is not existence due to his impersonal, unlimited expansions. The impersonal expansion is the manifestation of his energy, and he is always in his personal feature despite innumerable, unlimited expansions of impersonal energy. For human intelligence, it's very difficult to conceive how the whole creation rests on his energy. So anyway, everything is created by the energy of the Lord. I'm going to start speaking about what we're reading instead of just reading the whole thing and everybody forgets what we read. So, yeah, the Lord does everything through his energies, and his energies work according to his will. He has innumerable energies, and they work in diverse ways according to what he wants to accomplish. So in creating the material world, the Brahmajyoti, or his impersonal energy, creates through the arrangement of the Supreme Lord the ingredients of the material world, and gradually everything formulates by Lord Brahma and comes into being, and that is the material world. This material world, as is described here, is really created in order to facilitate the living entity's desire to become separate from the Lord, to enjoy separate from the Lord, to become a false controller and somehow or other play just like, you know, you have a little child and he likes to play. And his playing is just his own little absorption. Nobody knows what he's doing. He's playing the way he wants to play. Sometimes he breaks the toys. Sometimes he asks for new toys. Sometimes he gives his toys away to his friends. So the human being is like that. We're playing with this material energy, trying to manipulate it so we can find some happiness. And the Lord is just watching, thinking, yeah, just a foolish child running this way and that way, wasting time, having fun according to his own understanding of what is fun. So all this is facilitated by the Lord's energy because he doesn't interfere with the desires of the living entity, even though the desires are contrary to their best interest. He does interfere in one sense that he um, allows the living entity to have their independence. But then he interferes with that independence by giving us a chance to wake up to our eternal nature and come back to him in the spiritual world. For human intelligence, it's very difficult to conceive how the whole creation rests on his expansion of energy. So his energies are inconceivable and immeasurable, as he is unlimited and we are very limited. The scientists and great thinkers in this material world think that by their intelligence they can approach the vast creative cosmos, but it's just like it's more like a dwarf trying to catch the moon. You give a little dwarf a mirror, and he reflects the moon in the mirror, and he thinks he's got the moon, but he's simply holding a reflection called the mirror. So the foolish living entities are trying to understand something that is not understandable. And rather than trying to get out of it, they try to control it or try to understand it. So Prabhupada says for human intelligence, it's difficult to conceive how the creation rests on his expansion. But the Lord gives that example in the Gita, and he says that, air and the atoms rest within huge expansion of space, which is like the resting reservoir of everything material created. Still, the sky remains separate and unaffected. So things rest within the sky, but the sky is never affected by what's in the sky, nor is anyone in the sky, but it appears to be in the sky. Just for instance, birds fly in the sky, airplanes are in the sky, clouds are in the sky, but none of these things touch the sky. Similarly, although the Supreme Lord maintains everything created by his expansion of energy, he always remains separate. So the energies are working, and he's making those energies work accordingly, but he remains separate. This is even accepted by such great impersonalists as Sankaracharya. He says, Narayana Paro Vyakta, Narayana exists separately, apart from the impersonal creative energy. The whole creation thus merges within the body of the transcendental Narayan at the time of annihilation. So you can imagine how great Narayan is of all of the creative energy, which is so vast and so immeasurable at the time of Lord. And again, with the same changing categories of faith and individual nature, the living entities also, being part and parcel, are sometimes described as Atma, quality one in the spiritual constitution. So at the time of that annihilation, not only does the material energy goes back into the body of the Lord, but so does
Guru Maharaj's internet has gone.
I think we're going to have trouble with the internet again today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just this place I'm in has a very, what we say, unsteady connection here. It goes in and out.
We can hear
Okay,
you better now.
but because such living entities are apt to be attracted to the material creation, actively and subjectively, they are therefore go up the page so I can read more. Mhm. Yeah. Go all the way down to the end of the purport.
This is the end of the purport, Guru Maharaj.
Mm-hmm. Because such living in are therefore different from the Lord. Okay, you can stop share screening. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gana Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchikalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now, this verse in purport is just describing the greatness of the Lord and how his energies are manifested perfectly. And in working to facilitate the creation for the living entities who want to remain separate from the Lord. How great that creation is and how that creation appears and disappears according to the eternal time factor. For instance, time is divided on the material level into yugas. We have Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Vapura Yuga, and here we are in Kali Yuga. If you add all of those yugas together, you come to 1,296,000 years. And if you multiply that by 1,000, It comes to, as that figure was, more than 8 billion years. And that's the cycle of one day of Lord Brahma's life. So Brahma's life is so fantastically long that it's immeasurable. Brahma lives for 311 trillion 40 billion years. Right now Brahma's about 51 years old right now. That means he's more than half his age, and he'll have another 49 years to go. So at the end of that 49 years, there will be an annihilation where all of the lower levels of the material existence, such as the middle planets and the lower planets, it's described what happens is that there is torrential rains that come, and these rains go, no, I'm sorry, there is scorching heat that comes, and it burns up the entire material creation, and everything is ablaze. And then for 100 celestial years, there is rain, which puts out the fire, and then the end of the creation is finished. Before that time, the Lord takes the creative material ingredients along with the living entities back into his body as an interim period where they stay for billions of years until the next creation. We can't even conceive of what it was like when we were in the body of Lord Narayan. We come and go according to the levels, to the time factor of creative energy. So when we hear about this, and this is only about the material world, we get a little indication how powerful and how great God is and how great his creation is. And the creation is only 1/4 of the entire existence. 3/4 is the eternal manifestation, which is the spiritual world. So the spiritual world is 3 times greater than the material creation. This calculation is given by Shastra. So it's so inconceivable in terms of numbers, time, and power, how the Lord actually, and for him, he says in the Bhagavad Gita, with a tiny spark of my splendor, I manifest this entire creation, which means very insignificant part of his energy. He creates, he maintains, and he ultimately dissolves the material energy. And so when we think in terms of that, we think how great that is. So, but people talk about the greatness of the Lord. Bhagavatam and other scriptures talk about how great the Lord is in terms of what he does and how inconceivable it is to anyone, no matter how intelligent they may be or how adept they are in making electronic devices to peer into the cosmos. They can't see anything relevant or even near, and it's so vast. But we, devotees know everything because devotees accept everything coming from Krishna himself through the revealed scriptures. Therefore, devotees have full knowledge. And when asked, devotees can speak and explain the vastness and the inconceivable nature of the creation through the words of the Shastras and through the words of Krishna. And therefore, we don't need to make any kind of investigation. The non-devotees, they like to investigate everything with their tiny. Prabhupada tells about the frog in the well. The frog is in the well, And one of his frog-like friends comes and says, wow, you know, I saw this big, vast body of water. They call it the ocean. And it's so much water. It's so great and so grand. And the frog is trying to understand what his friend's saying. So he's measuring by his tiny frog-like brain how great the ocean is. So he says to his friend, is it 3 times bigger than my well? Well, maybe it's 5 times bigger. All right, 10 times bigger. And he's blowing himself up as he's talking about the size. And at one point he bursts. So Prabhupada said his scientists are like that. They're trying to measure this immeasurable and grand creation, which is only a small part of God's existence anyway. And still, they simply die without any understanding. But we, the devotees, we have full knowledge. Although we don't do any study, we simply accept knowledge from the perfect source. Knowledge comes from the perfect source. And when you know the perfect source, you can get perfect knowledge. And you can get unlimited knowledge also. So the devotees are the most intelligent people in existence because we are connected with the source of all intelligence, the pure scriptures, such as Srimad Bhagavatam and many of the other revealed scriptures that talk about the Lord and his existence. So we can explain without a doubt and very convincingly how Krishna exists, what he does, and how he does what he does, and how we are affected by that, and what is our relationship with that, and how we can somehow improve our life to both to understand him and to also return to him. The devotees have all knowledge. Everything is given to us by the Lord but the non-devotees, when they also come across the same information, they think it's some kind of mythology. Or somebody wrote some books in order to become popular about spiritual science. But actually, this knowledge is a Parushad. A Parushad means it's not man-made. It's coming from the source, who is the source, and that is Krishna himself. Tene Brahma Ida Adi Kavaye. Lord Brahma received all knowledge from Krishna directly. And then later on, he spoke that knowledge, which is we know as the Brahma Samhita. He did 100 Samhitas, or 100 versions of the Samhita. We have one of them, which is chapter 5. All of the other 99 were lost in time. No one knows where they are or even how they became lost. But even that one, the Brahma Samhita, which is one of the most important out of all of the knowledge that he made available, one can fully understand the greatness of the Lord simply by studying this Brahma Samhita, the words of Lord Brahma. And then, of course, Brahma, being the first created being and being empowered to create on behalf of the Lord, expands the material creation by the will and power of the Lord, and everything unfolds accordingly. So Brahma, we're hearing a lot about Brahma in this chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this canto, second canto. And you'll continue as we go into the following chapters. Most of it is spoken by Lord Brahma about the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his creative factor. So when we know the greatness of the Lord and accept that greatness, then also when we read and hear about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, we have no doubt that what is being spoken there is eternal truth. Why? Because that same person who is the cause of all causes also has another nature, which is his original nature, and that is the beautiful boy of Sri Vrindavan Dham, who is simply exchanging love with his eternal companions in the spiritual world, and also he manifests those same leelas, those same activities in the material world for the benefit of the living entities on the material realm. And then we can accept, yes, Krishna has 16,108 wives. Prabhupada said 16,108 wives. He can have 16 million wives. He can have 16 billion wives. He's the source of everything. So for him, nothing is inconceivable. But yet he has this sweet nature where he exchanges loving relationships with his devotees and appears to be like an ordinary child, an ordinary boy, an ordinary friend, an ordinary lover, or even someone who is mischievous and does things that are considered to be outside of what is acceptable. So, before we can understand or begin to understand the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is, as it's explained, the smiling face of the Lord, we have to approach the Lord in his creative feature to get an understanding of his greatness. That way we don't get bewildered or even become doubtful when we read those Leelas of Krishna and Vrindavan. That's why everything is given in a systematic way. The body of the Lord is analogous to the different cantos of the Lord. The first and second cantos are the feet of the Lord, and third and fourth, the thighs, all the way up to the 10th canto, which is the smiling face of the Lord. The 11th canto is the forehead of the Lord, and the 12th canto is the top of the head. But the smiling face is the most attractive feature of the Lord, and that is his pastimes in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So therefore, we're studying all of this very technical information in terms of creation, in terms of annihilation, in terms of the time factor, just to get a clear understanding of the greatness of the Lord and how that greatness is manifested in reality. Okay, so we can stop there and if there's any comments or questions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. That was so much informative from very beginning to the end. The whole creation has been explained in this verse. Dear devotees, if you can, please start your video because that makes it more personal to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj loves to see everyone's faces. And if you have any questions or comment, please go ahead. Okay, there are two hands already raised. Krishna Kaviraj Das Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you. Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, Maharaj, all glories to the Vaishnavas. Guru Maharaj, why does Krishna destroy everything in the creation only to keep rebuilding it again?
Bhuta Bhuta Paliyate, it says creation is created and annihilated. Material energy is temporary in its manifestation and eternal in its existence. So the creative basic elements are eternal, but the forms are temporary. So even this material world, which is a combination of different forms goes through a time cycle, like everything material. So when that time cycle reaches its end, then material energy is destroyed and recreated again in the next manifestation. So this is the nature of everything material. It is temporary. But the ingredients that make up the material energy is eternal. That's why it keeps coming. Bhutva, bhutva, bhaliyate means created and annihilated again and again. It's a cycle of existence. Just like we come into this world in a particular body and we go through our lifespan, then we end and then we reappear again in another situation, mostly a complete different situation, and again go through our an existence again in the material world. And this keeps going. This is called samsara, the cycle of birth and death. So everything material comes in cycles, not in linear, but in cycles. If you want to understand this world, it's cyclical. The scientists can't figure out whether things are cyclical or linear. In other words, things going in one direction and then but things just happen again and again in the same way. But the different players, but in each cycle, there is a different set of players, but the cycle is the same. Just like the four seasons, you have summer, fall, winter, spring. So they go over and over, and they're cyclical. But the ingredients that happen within those different time periods may be different, but the cycles are the same. So the same with this material energy. It's created, and then it goes through different time periods, and then it ends at a certain time. And then it's recreated again. That's material. Spiritual is eternal, ever existing. That's the difference. That's the difference between the energies. One is eternal, and the other one is temporary.
Okay. Thank you.
Everything material is subject to the time factor. Even this cosmic creation is subject to the time factor, which is also an energy of the Lord. So don't get attached to anything in this world because it'll be gone. Get attached to Krishna, and then you can enter into the spiritual world where things are not affected by the time factor, where they continue to expand in their greatness, but there's never any loss. Everything is always expanding, becoming more happy, more joyful, more happy, more knowledgeable. Varieties are increasing. Everything is increasing. Nothing is deteriorating. In this world, you give up something, you take up something else. If something else comes, you give that up. You get another body, you give that up. You meet some people you call it family members, then it ends in this life, and then you get another set of family members. One life you're a mother, the next life you're a father. Sometimes you get, a different body, like you're a dog in one life, and then you're, a cockroach in another life. So, of course, devotees don't fall that far down. But anyway, in other words, change is the constant feature of the material energy. Things are always changing. Prabhupada tells the story of Lomasa Muni. Lomasa Muni was a great sage, and he was a very hairy sage, and he had a benediction that he could live one lifetime of Brahma for every hair on his head. And he was a very hairy sage. So he had some followers. He was living on the bank of the river, the holy river, and he had no cottage. So he had some followers, and his followers they came to their spiritual master. They said, Guru Maharaj, can we build you a little cottage so you can live in? He said, don't bother, I'm not going to be here that long. So Prabhupada makes the point. Yes, we think, this life of 100 years is a long time, but it's so fast and so insignificant that, it'll be gone. And then again, we get a chance to, if we don't make it back to the spiritual world, we get a chance to play the game again. So
Sridevi Mataji.
everything in this world is what it is, temporary. So temporary and cannot always fulfill our desires for happiness. It's both. I think we might be able, I might lose your contact again. My internet goes out in intervals, so I'll be back.
Okay, thank you.
But for now, we can keep going. Sri Devi.
Sridevi Mataji.
Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and all glories to Sri Krishna. So, as you were speaking, Guru Maharaj, about the impersonal manifestation, how the scientists are trying to conquer over material energy and so on, I was just thinking that in India, as we grow up, for us, it is just natural to remember baby Krishna because Bal Leela is so prominent. All the time you hear about Krishna's naughty pastimes and how sweet he is and how he harasses the gopis and what mischief he does and everything. So we don't even really get much opportunity to understand the impersonal feature or to understand creation and so on. So is it like you need to first know all that, then only you can appreciate Krishna? Or because you have exposure to the personal form of the Lord, you just get attracted to that feature of the Lord?
Well, that's nice, and that's the goal. But when things happen in this world, you should know that it's also, and he is also Sarva Karana Karnam. He's the cause of all causes. We can't see his personal feature behind all of this. So he's working through his energies, which are his impersonal way of managing the universes. That's also him. But we worship the personal feature. There's a class of spiritualists who worship the impersonal feature and think that is supreme. And that class is greater than the personalists. We are in a minority compared to the impersonal yogis, jnanis, tapasis, various types of sadhus. They're in greater number because very few people can understand or even accept the personal feature of the Lord. So if they do any worship, they worship something that is not worshipable, because you can't worship the energy. You have to worship a person, because we are also person. So they worship the energy by trying to either rise above the energy or to manipulate the energy. Devotees don't worry about either one of them. They simply take shelter of Krishna, and he arranges for the energy to work according to the desire of the living being, and everything works according to his will. So if we want to develop our relationship with him and serve him, he'll arrange the energies in such a way that will facilitate our desire. If we want to manipulate the energies ourselves, then he will give us the intelligence how to do that.
Yes,
So
Guru Maharaj. I understand. I understand that we need to understand the complete aspect of the Lord, not just focus on either one, either impersonal or personal. or understand the supreme nature of the Lord, and the fact that devotees are so few as compared to the others who are jnanis, yogis, tapasvis, etc. Okay.
Yeah, you have to understand the personal worship includes the impersonal, where the impersonal worship does not include the personal. Personal is higher or more complete.
Is it okay, Sridevi Mataji? Thank you for
Just
that
like
question.
when you learn about a person, and you can also learn about what he does, what are his friends, what is his hobbies. These are his energies. But first we learn about the person before you can learn about all of the other aspects connected to him. So when we learn about Krishna, we also, his impersonal nature or his energies also are included in worship of the personal.
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, in the connection to that Sridevi Mataji's question, I've got a comment that when we learn, I'm from India, so when we learn so much about Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's baby Leelas, we don't even want to sometimes know all the technical terms, which is like creation and everything. We just want to be in that pastimes and keep listening to it.
That's
Is
fine.
it something okay, or is it?
Yeah, you're getting, if you accept the pure truth, then that's fine. But then again, if you're challenged, can you understand or make some understanding where your faith will not be, destroyed by some challenges if you hear other philosophies.
True.
That's the reason we learn, so we can stay fixed in the truth. But if you have enough faith, as Prabhupada said, chanting alone can bring you to the perfectional stage. The philosophy is there to support the chanting, but if you have complete faith and you're engaged fully in chanting, then all the philosophy follows automatically.
Thank you. Thank you. Silpesh Prabhu, do you want to ask your question?
I'm still here.
Hare
Thank
Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your lotus feet, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, when I was in India, I noticed a lot of people worship Krishna in the form of Srinathji. And I think I saw a painting of Srinathji at the Mirror Road Temple. But it's not very prominent in ISKCON. I was just curious why. Is there a reason specific?
No. Have you been to New Vrindavan?
No.
Srinathji's on the altar. Have you been to Mumbai?
Just Mirror Road and Chowpat.
Have you been to Chalpati?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Srinathji's on the altar there.
Okay.
And there's other places where Srinathji's on the altar. That's Krishna in his boyish form. So it's not as prominent or profuse as the other deities, but he's there in a few places. He's really nicely worshipped in Mumbai, in Chowpatty. They dress him up in the different incarnations of the Lord, because that he is the source of all the incarnations.
I see. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for enlightening me.
Yeah. Few places around the world, the deity is there.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Sonal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances to all the devotees as well. Maharaj, it's just, I was just reflecting, yesterday you said you have to reflect, and I was just reflecting my personal journey of Krishna consciousness. And since Sridhar Mataji asked, since our childhood, we have been raised with certain stories or pastimes, now what we call it. And it almost seems so certain that it's like a stage is set and we are just playing the role and we are kind of slowly advancing. And it's really amazing to see how everything is just set. And there are so many people in India. Why can't everyone see this? And only very, very few of us can see this beautiful drama unfolding. It's like very slow and as if we are evolving and we are developing our character kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a few who can see it, but most of us are looking towards other things, therefore we don't see it. We're looking how we can take advantage of this material energy so it will work in our favor so we can enjoy in different ways. So the consciousness is directed in the wrong way. But when we become a little peaceful and perceptive, we can see how everything is moving in a very systematic way. Om Purnam Adaha Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnavadaya Purnam Eva Visishyate. Everything animate and inanimate is created by the Lord. And therefore, everything is complete and perfect. There are so many complete perfects, and all of the perfects are working under the direction of the perfection, or that is the supreme perfect. And yeah, you want to go to that verse? It's really important. It's the invocation of the Sri Upanishads. Om Purnam Hada Purnam Midam Purnat Udachyate Purnasya Purnam. Yeah. Yeah, you're watching a beautiful drama being, it's more like a drama than it is. Sometimes it's a satire. Sometimes it's a melodrama.
Because it just happens like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And when you look back, it's already stage is set, and as if it's going in that one direction, you know which direction. It's amazing to reflect as well.
When you connect with the will of the Lord, then you can see everything perfectly. When you're outside the will of the Lord, then you can't see it. Yeah, so get to the translation. The personality of God is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly complete equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he's the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Yeah. So, and then the explanation, there's a long purport that goes into the details of how this completement is manifested in different features like that. Just like Mother Earth, she's a complete whole. And when somebody does something pious, Mother Earth responds by rewarding that person with something material. When people do something impious, Mother Earth responds by doing something to cause that person some suffering. She's the rewarder and the, the person and the punisher through her own energies under the care and direction of the Supreme Lord. So she is also, sometimes people say, well, people can destroy the earth with all these atomic bombs, but the earth will never get destroyed because the earth, is working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. They can cause some havoc. They can knock things out of balance temporarily. But by the will of the Lord, everything will rebalance in due course of time. Yeah. I know there's some material examples. I can't really think of them right now. Mm. Yeah, that's a nice point. I really thank you for that. That was really interesting. If you can see that, that's special mercy.
It's your mercy, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Most of us are looking somewhere else. It's beautiful. And you stay connected with Krishna, everything will work out in the most amazing way. Even at the time of leaving this body, it'll be like a beautiful symphony. Yes.
Thank you, Sakshi Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, and all glories to the assembled Vaishnavas. Maharaj, I just want to have a little clarification on the nature of the matter. So in yesterday's class, you were speaking about how matter it was never created and it will never destroy, and matter just change its form. And a nice example you give, the body when it was cremated, then the matter it changes, the body changes the form of the ashes and later the dust particles. So then what I understood from my own view is that after annihilation takes place, the matter just changes the forms and it rests onto the body of the Lord. And when creation happens again, the matter again changes its form. And is that a right?
Yeah. Creation comes from subtle to gross, and annihilation goes from gross to subtle. So from subtle to gross is first there is sky, and then there is air, and then there is water, and then there's fire, and then there's earth. And when it goes back, it's described in the third canto. Then from earth, it goes into water, and water into fire, fire into air, air into sky, sky back into the false ego, the false ego back into the pradhan, and then everything returns back. So everything comes out one way and returns in the same way. Yeah. So the energies are eternal, but the manifestations are temporary.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sakshi Mataji. That connects with one.
And the important point is that we are eternal. And we're not subject to any of this creation or annihilation. But because we identify with the body, we think we are. We think we're die, we think we're born, we're thinking we're suffering, we're thinking we're enjoying. These are all just mental concoctions. Soul never touches matter, but it identifies with matter as the self, and therefore it gets these reactions of happiness and distress based on this false sense of identification. That's all.
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, can I ask one question in connection to Sakshi Mataji's question? Is it okay, Sridevi Mataji? I'll come back to you later. I keep on thinking that after the annihilation, when all the whoever is left or living entities, they rest into the body of the Lord, will there thinking or mentality will not change, so that they want to go back to Godhead when they are there, or they can't think? How does that work?
Yeah, it says they're in yoga nidra, they're in the sleep state.
Okay.
They're in an inactive state. But it says that those who are engaged in devotional service at the time of annihilation will immediately go back to Godhead. Because devotional service cannot be stopped by anything material. So if you're around during the annihilation and you're still doing your japa, you'll make it back. This is special. This is special concession. This is not something that is part of the normal way of things. This is special. I
Wow,
asked that.
so much hopes.
Yeah, I asked that question. So as long as you stay engaged in devotional service, you'll at one point you're guaranteed to go back home, back ahead. You'll get there. Don't give up. The question is how long you want to take to get there. That's the question.
Nobody knows that, is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Shruti Mataji, before I come to you, there is a question on the chat.
Just to really reiterate, the living entities that go back into the Mahavishnu, they stay in an inactive state. It's called yoga nidra, or sleep. It's a spiritual sleep. They're sleeping, there's no activities, but they're not even aware of their existence being in the body of the Lord. They're free from the material energy, but at the same time, there's no activity on the spiritual level either. But then when the time for the next manifestation comes out, then the Lord, again, releases the living entities back into the material energy according to where they left off in the previous manifestation. You've been around for a long time. You don't even know it. How old are you? When we say how old, people ask us how old. Well, I'm ancient. I'm timeless.
True, Guru Maharaj. Okay, there's a question in the chat from the Scarlet Mataji. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your holiness. May I humbly ask, do one get to worship all aspects and features of the Lord?
Does one get to worship all aspects and features of the Lord?
Yeah.
That's pretty hard, because the features and aspects of the Lord are unlimited. But we can just stick to Krishna or to Lord Chaitanya or to, Lord Ram. That's enough to get us back to Godhead. You can read about and hear about many of the features, but even that's a small drop in the ocean. Even Ananta Shesh, who has thousands of heads, he's chanting the glories of the Lord's and the forms of the Lord. He can't even keep up. The Lord's so unlimited, there's no way to measure his unlimitedness. So it's beyond inconceivable. That's his greatness. Yet he's available to each and every soul in a loving relationship. That's the beauty of the Lord's, existence. That although he's so powerful, so great, he can have a loving relationship with each and every living being. And that is the actual goal in life, to enter into that loving relationship.
Hope this helps, Scarlet Mataji. Thank you for your question. And thank you, Sridevi Mataji, for waiting. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, as you were saying, don't get attached to anything in this material world, get attached to Krishna. Because, and go back to Krishna, where everything is increasing in beauty, increasing in variety. In other words, you describe the spiritual world. So as you were speaking that, one very beautiful song composed by Mangalananda Prabhu came to my mind. He composed many, many songs glorifying Krishna. And
Yeah.
this one particular song is, Guru Maharaj, are you there? Okay.
Well, when you the last thing I heard was that the spiritual world is ever increasing and ever, varieties. After that, we lost you completely.
Yeah, you were,
So,
as you were just describing the beauty of
start
the
again.
Huh. Well, as you were
Yeah, but
describing,
speak slow, because if you speak fast, you'll knock your internet off. That's what happens.
oh, okay. I'll
Speak slowly.
Okay.
Every
So,
time I speak fast, an internet gets knocked off when we speak.
okay, okay. So
Speak slowly.
as you were describing the spiritual world and the beauty and the variety of the spiritual world, I was remembering Mangalananda Prabhu, who composed many beautiful songs glorifying Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual world, Krishna. And this particular song struck me. Oh my Lord, take me back. I've wandered off the track and I want to learn to love you once again. So this particular song, where the devotee is pleading, my dear Lord, I really want to come back to you, has also been echoed by George Harrison. My sweet Lord, I really want to see you. I really want to be with you. So this longing to reconnect and go back to Krishna, it seems like it's innate in our souls. It's there.
Yeah.
And we just are bringing it out more and more as we go ahead in bhakti. We realize, oh my God, I've lost such a wonderful thing. Now, all I want is to regain that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. The more you make advancement, the more you realize how much you really are missing that relationship. That's part of the evolution of the soul's bhakti. There's the longing. What is a beautiful song? What is it called? Lala Samai. Lala Samai. Yeah. That means hankering from one's spiritual position in the spiritual world. Lala Samai. That song is, I think it's sung by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Look up the word Lala Samai. I think just to find the definition of the word. Let's see. If you can go for spiritual definitions. Lala Samai. Lala Samai Partan, yeah.
Is this the right one?
Goranga bolite have phula ka sariram hari hari bolite nayana bebira akaba. Yeah, go to the translation. This song is sung by Narottam Das Thakur. One has attained the perfection of chanting when, as soon as he chants the name of Lord Gauranga, who initiated the Sankirtan movement, at once there is shivering in the body. This is not to be imitated. Narottam says, When will that opportune moment come to us when there will be shivering in the body as soon as we chant the Lord Gauranga's name? While chanting Hare Krishna, there'll be tears in the eyes. What is the symptom of a person who has achieved the causeless mercy of Nityananda? So it goes on to explain. Desire for material enjoyment. Narottam Das Thakur wonders, when will it become very insignificant? Now this is hankering, praying for that mercy. Lala Samayi. When shall I be very eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis? When, oh when will thy day be mine? What is that? What is that? What is that song? Pavanama Ruchi. What is that? You know that one, Sri Devi?
Tabe habe bolo se dinamar.
No, not
Aparada
that.
guch. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's it. Sing it. Abadada Gucci. What is it?
Shuddha nama ruchi. Hridoye sanchar. When will my heart be cleansed? And when will I chant the holy name without any offenses? When will that day be mine? Kabe habe bolo se din amar. Bhakti Vinod Thakur sings. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. When will that day be mine? Offenses ceasing, the taste for the holy name increasing. When, oh when, when, oh when, when, oh when will that day be mine? Kabhi habe bol se dina amai. Yeah, this is Saranagati. Dina hina kabhi niji mane. That's a beautiful, beautiful song. Hankering, begging, crying, please take me out of this whirlpool of confusion. Yeah. You can go to the translation if you like. When, oh when will a day be mine, when the offense is ceasing, taste for the name increasing? When in my heart will the mercy shine? When, oh when will that day be mine? Lower than a blade of grass, more tolerant a tree. When will my mind attain this quality? Respectful for all, not expecting their honor. Then shall I taste the name's nectar sublime. When, oh when will that day be mine? Great wealth or followers, feminine beauty, I don't care for them, or the comforts of body, birth after birth, give me, O Lord Chaitanya, ceaseless devotion to your divine feet. When, oh when will that day be mine? When will I utter Krishna, Krishna, Krishna with words choked up in shivering body? When will I be trembling all over, losing bodily colors, tears pouring from my eyes? When, oh when will that day be mine? When in the Navadvip along the Ganga bank, shouting Gaur Nitai as a surrendered soul, dancing, chanting, running everywhere, when will I become half mad of mind? When, oh when will that day be mine? When will Lord Nityananda show me mercy? When will I reject the world of Maya? Bestow upon me the shade of your lotus feet. Let the right to preach the name be mine. When, oh when will that day be mine? I will beg, borrow, steal the nectar of the name. By the name's effect, I will feel paralyzed. O enjoyer of the nectar of the name, when will I touch your lotus feet till the end of time? When, oh when will the day be mine? When kindness to all beings will be appearing, with free heart forget myself comforting. Bhakti Vinod in all humility praise. Now I will set out to preach your order sublime. When, oh when will that day be mine? Mhm. Mhm. It's a beautiful, it's hankering for the transcendence. Mm. Okay, so we have a little bit, I have about 5 or 10 more minutes the most, and then I have to depart.
Is it okay to take one more question from Namrata Mataji? Guru
Yeah.
Maharaj? Okay. Namrata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. After hearing Bhakti Vinod Thakur's poem, I mean, I always feel my questions are like no important, not important to ask that question.
Yeah, you actually understood everything. We are any of the questions we asked is so. Just let me just get to your lotus feet. That's all. Somehow.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I'm really fan of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. His poems, his literature, I love it. So whenever I hear him, it's always like no questions needed. But thank you, Guru Maharaj, for that poem. I'll definitely hear it over and over again. It's wonderful.
Our ancestry, the tradition, the great souls, the acharyas, especially those who particularly follow Lord Chaitanya, are so deep in the mood of bhakti that, it's just heart-wrenching. It's nice if we sing these songs by these great personalities, Narottam Das Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur especially. These two personalities. Kabe habe bolo sehin hum. Radha Krishna bolo bolo. Bolo rate sovan. Chief Krishna Das He Vishwas Kolinara Dukanai. Haribo. Bolo rate Subra Krishna. Haribo. So many beautiful bhajans. There's a book that's compiled, which I think Sachinandana Maharaj initiated the book. It just has so many of these bhajans, and it's like a little book you can carry around, and there's like hundreds of these bhajans. Narottam Das Thakur, also from Rupa Goswami, from other acharyas, mostly Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He's full in these bhajans. Yeah. So
Thank
when
you,
we
sir.
Of the
when we
Vaishnava also that booklet long back published Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada asked Achyutananda Maharaj and Brahmananda Maharaj, I think, to publish songs of Vaishnava Acharyas.
yeah, that one there too. There's a few compilations. That's one of them. Yeah. But by singing these bhajans, reciting these prayers, we can go deeper into our own devotion. Happens automatically.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I had one question. The person who asked the question was shuffling between the impersonal and personal. So he basically asked me that since we are souls, so we should recognize even the Supreme Lord as the super soul or soul. He said if we are recognizing ourselves as body, then only we can recognize the personal form of the Lord. So he was not quite into the
Yeah,
concept of
there's an old saying, a goat will eat anything and a madman will speak anything. Yeah, so there's a lot of mad people out there making their statements based on, you know, they stop and think for a moment and they come up with these ideas.
Yes, and surprisingly, Guru Maharaj, what surprised me was like there's a whole what do you say the whole the this community going on with this mentality, and I don't want to name it, but I mean the set of people has this thought that because you recognize yourself as a gross body, that is why you see uh, even Lord as a personal form. So I was surprised with that. I said you see Vedas, you see Puranas, there's a lot of references. How can you tell that?
They don't understand that the soul also has form. As Krishna has form, so do you, the soul. You're not just some white light, you know, flying around. You have form too. There's spiritual form. Spiritual form is the original form. Material form is just a created form, which ends in very short time anyway. So they don't want that they recognize that the soul also has form. But they can't perceive that, therefore they can see the body and they think, oh, the body has form, therefore, you know, and the Supreme Lord has form. Well, that's nice, he does. But that's to use that analogy, it doesn't fit at all.
Yes, that is why then they'll accept Krishna, but in the material way. So
Yeah.
that I mean ultimately goes in one way.
Exactly. They think that when Krishna comes to the material world, he takes on a material body.
Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Yeah. Therefore, we have to hear from the authorities, which is Shastra. The Shastra is authority. Srimad Bhagavatam is Amalam Puranam. It's the pure treatise of the nature of the absolute truth and devotion to the absolute truth. If you read and study Bhagavatam, everything you'll get, everything you want to know is there. That one book alone can make you fully Krishna conscious. Just Bhagavatam. Yeah.
After associating with such people, definitely Bhagavatam is must.
Well, you seem to be fortunate enough to meet all of these wrong philosophies. Maybe Krishna is putting you in a position where you can, you know, preach, where you can somehow either make a difference in their life or strengthen your own transcendental knowledge through preaching. Because when we preach and fight against this ignorance, we also become stronger in our own Krishna consciousness.
Guru Maharaj, it's very tough to change this mindset. But the second part, yes, I'm doing is very first thing I believe I have to strengthen myself before I tell them anything. But somehow I feel telling them is not working. So I just do the second part. I strengthen myself and give them prasadam.
One of the ways to strengthen yourself is listen to Prabhupada's lectures, because he always presents many of these opposing ideas and then he defeats them. A lot of his lectures are like that.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I feel very heavy, Guru Maharaj, when I go in midst of these persons. I mean, then when I hear Prabhupada, I do little devotional service. I start feeling a little lighter, but it becomes very heavy for me when I go in amongst this kind of people.
Well, there's an art on how to defeat your opponent. And the art is not to somehow or other present your understanding of truth. The art is to listen to their nonsense and learn how to dismantle it. You don't even have to speak anything about what is real. All you can do is just dismantle all of that by showing where they're wrong through logic, reason, analogy.
Mm.
The way to win an argument is not to present your side. They'll say something and you'll say something, go back and forth. There'll be no end. You take what they say and tear it apart. Then they have no argument left. That's the art of debate.
I'll try that, Guru Maharaj. So
And
somehow
then,
I feel
then
listen.
when they're completely destroyed in their argument based on your expert tearing apart, and then you hit them with the truth. but you keep that at the end. You're saying it's like this, but we can see, and then you point all of the flaws in their own arguments.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Such
That
a
in
powerful point. It's such a powerful point, Guru Maharaj. You showed us how to win the debate. Thank you. Are you okay, Amritanam Mataji?
Yes, yes. I'm in the process of hearing Srila Prabhupada's all the lectures and tapes. I think that will help me in every way, I feel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Good. We want fighters out there because the world's full of ignorance.
Thank you so much, Amritanam
With
Mataji.
your mercy, Guru Maharaj. All with your mercy.
Actually, because of you, we got to learn such a powerful point. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. There is no other questions. Is there a last minute question? Anyone has got it? There's nothing on the chat.
It's
Guru
getting a
Maharaj,
little. Yeah, we've been on for an hour and a half, and I have to.
Yeah, sorry.
Now-
Srimati Mataji asked me to just let you know about the tomorrow's Bhakti Sangha conference Japa call, which will start at UK time 12:20, and the verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 13, verse 46.
7/13/46. This is with Charlotte, right?
Bhakti Sangha, so yeah, conference.
Yeah, that's Charlotte, North
Yeah.
Carolina.
Thank you so much for today's class with so many powerful points. This changed so many thinking what we have, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
devotees, for your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad
Thank you
Bhagavatam
very
ki
much for
jai.
today's class. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj.
Guru
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Haribo, Haribo.
एक मिनट हरे कृष्णा महाराज हरे कृष्णा my humble obeisances to you Hare Krishna
Praise the Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna all glories to Prabhupada.
Krishna. Anyone would like to do the chanting?
I can do some chanting with everyone for about half an hour, but at 7 p.m., which is half an hour from now, I have to quit.
Okay, fine. Is it okay if I'll make you host, Mataji, and you can share Srila Prabhupada's chanting, please? Thank you. I will, let me make you host now. Yeah, okay. Mataji, you are host now. I'll stop the recording and then we can start the Actually, you will have to stop the recording. So now you are host, Mataji.
Oh, what do you want me to do?
Stop the recording. Stop the recording, Mataji.
Okay. Let me just go to the 3 dots.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Depends.
Stop recording. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Show sound.
Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Here,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Hare
Yes,
Krishna Hare
we
Krishna
can hear
Krishna
it. Thank you.
Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare